Hey, my name is John. I'm the Bold and Bald programmer, and in this video, I'm going to do a part one review of Automate the Boring Stuff with Python by Al Swigart. So I picked up this book because I wanted to work on fun projects. With programming, there's like a lot of boring and dry topics, especially chasing like the hot topics like JavaScript frameworks can get pretty tiring. And I just wanted to pick up something that can kind of like rekindle the passion for programming, right? I would say this book does a really good job with it. Two reasons why. First reason, there's like a lot of fun and useful projects. It'll teach you like how to make like a password locker. It'll teach you like how to dig through text to pull out phone numbers and emails. Later topics are like web scraping, graphic user interfaces, cool topics like that, right? But also Python's really easy to work with. It's really easy to read and write code in Python, and it seems like there's like a library for everything in Python, whether it's data visualization, data science, machine learning, web development, finance. There's a lot of topics that can be covered using Python. So I just want to talk about the good and the bad about this book. So let's go ahead and talk about the good. We talked about fun and useful projects. That password locker, really cool. I kind of expanded it a little bit, so I have like this program right here. I kind of just took the password project and kind of just went a little bit further. I made a separate passwords file to hold my passwords. You could go ahead and write a README. Eventually, you could put testing into your project, kind of using different modules like pprint just to make it look nice. Use an all keyword to show all of your password accounts. Definitely, this is not too different, but it is different from the password locker exercise in this book. So at the end of every chapter, there's like a little project you could do. These projects become more bigger and more involved as you go on. So I expect chapter 18 to be pretty much a beast of a chapter, right? So this book is, I don't know, programming friendly. What I mean by that, you definitely can learn to code using this textbook, right? These first few chapters, they're kind of basic. Strings and lists and functions, if-else statements, like all these, I think are like really easy, kind of basic introductions to Python. And if you don't know how to program, these chapters are going to be really useful to you. Now let's talk about the bad about this textbook, right? Um, so these kind of introduction chapters are really useful if you don't know how to program, but if you do know how to program, these chapters can be a little bit dry, especially because these chapters are a little bit long too. So, sometimes you don't want to spend an hour doing flow control, right? But, this author, he introduces these chapters because you need to learn how to do it the Python way, and some of the more like uh, niche topics will show up in later chapters. For example, like I didn't know what a raw string was, but this book will cover what a raw string is for, and in later chapters you'll see why it's useful, right? So, um, it's just kind of how it has to be. These chapters can get long, but just stick with it. You do need to sit in front of a computer and practice, right? You can't just read this book before you go to bed. You really need to go through the exercises. Let's kind of go ahead and take a look. Let's look at the project. So they kind of have like practice projects right here that you could go through, right? They do like a cool little like tic-tac-toe project earlier on. Excuse me. And they kind of have like these little practice questions you should go through. Definitely go through these. I kind of went through them mentally, and I plan to go back once I'm finished with this book with pen and paper just to see if I can actually do some of these problems in Python, or at least answer some of these questions. Let's just do some really quick. What does bacon.indexcat evaluate to? Crap. I actually don't know. Probably returns a zero, maybe? No, it's an error. Why is it an error? Because bacon is not defined at all. So in order to do that, you probably have to make an index, sorry, make a list with an index of cat. And then let's go ahead and try that out now. There we go, zero. Cool. So yeah, A lot of little practice problems you could do right here. And there's practice problems for every chapter. There's also practice projects. So a lot of opportunity to just sit down and kind of practice with Python. And you have to do this because, like I said, you can't just read and understand what's going on. It's very much like a technical textbook from like an engineering college, um, which is cool. I mean, programming is practical. You have to. It's very hands-on. You just have to do it. Reading it's not going to be enough. So yeah, these chapters can get long. You have to practice. You have to put some effort into it. But you know what? Again, the payoff is really cool. You get fun and useful projects, projects that you can expand upon, and there's a huge difference between a book like this that has a lot of fun material in it compared to kind of a textbook that's more like this. Algorithms and data structures. Is it important? Yes, it's important. Is it fun? Sometimes it's not. Oh well, Um, so what I'm gonna do is I plan to finish this by the end of the month. Um, it just depends. And I'm gonna do a part two review, and I'm gonna get into more detail about some of these chapters. Because right now I can tell you about regular expressions. It's a pretty hard chapter. I was kind of intimidated at first because it kind of looks like Egyptian hieroglyphics. And I'm not exaggerating, but really what Al tries to do is just says, hey, look, a regular expression basically reduces all of these if statements into three lines of code. Let's see, where kind of did it. Anyways, yeah, it takes like all these lines of code and reduces it into basically three lines of code, and that's what regular expressions does. So let's go ahead and just find, there you go. So this is a regular expression for uh, a phone number that's made of digits and dashes, right? And then it just gets more complicated. So a little bit more complicated, not really. And then it's going to go down to emails and numbers and special characters, right? So yeah, just a little sneak peek. Okay, so thank you for watching my video. Have a nice day.